You asked for the video? You got the video. Dan from REV-X Products here. We're back in Michigan now with the Rockstar 450 that we bought from the guys at MXA, and this is also the bike that they tested without the radiators on it with the max power in it. Now all you guys out there have seen the original video of what we did with this bike with the MXA crew. If you haven't seen it, check right up here. You can click that link and it'll replay that video for you. Then you can watch this one to see just what the aftermath was. They told us, put your money where your mouth is. So we had them test the max power 4-stroke engine treatment product in this bike at 106 degrees at Glen Helen. This bike, after they had tested it, went for an hour and a half without the coolant, radiators, or even the water pump cover on it. And we're going to tear this bike apart just to show you exactly how it looks now after that test. Now, we've got all the engine pieces laid out here, all of the components that are necessary for this engine to run. And what we're going to do is we're just going to run you through real quick, let you know exactly what we found, what we were looking for, and try to keep it all real short so that you guys can understand exactly what we saw after this engine was superheated with no cooling system on it. All right, guys, this is the cylinder head here. And one of the things that we wanted to look at with this was the valve seals to make sure that they weren't leaking because of excessive heat. We also wanted to inspect the valve guides in there to make sure that they didn't wear and get too big or egg-shaped or anything like that. Both of them measured out perfect. The rubber on the valve seals is still nice and soft and pliable. The other thing that we needed to do is we needed to check the cylinder head itself on the seating surface to make sure that it was dead flat and not warped after we did that high heat test, and it came out perfect. There isn't even a thousandths warpage or anything on there that would keep this from not being used again. The cylinder, we actually had to measure the warpage here as well to make sure that everything was dead flat. That came out well underneath a half a thousandths, and with that we measured the upper and the lower surface of it, and that was all good. So what we did is we went ahead and we measured the circumference, and we used a dial bore gauge to check and make sure that the cylinder wasn't tapered, egg-shaped, or worn from the piston running at that extreme temperature. Everything checked out on the cylinder. We actually have less than half a thousandths difference on all of the points that we actually measured on this cylinder at a 1/4 inch down each time. So that cylinder checks out great. It's a perfect reusable part. The piston, we measured the piston up as well, and we went from different points on the skirt to make sure that everything was indicated and as it should be. The piston to side clearance on the cylinder came in at just 2 thousandths. So our piston to cylinder wall clearance is still in great shape. As you can see from the piston here, we have very little scuffage or any issues there that would cause us to actually replace this piston. So both the cylinder and the piston are going to be reused. The piston rings, both of the piston rings mic'd out great with an end gap on these, both of them about 10 thousandths for an end gap, which is well within clearance on these rings. Now, one of the problems that we found with this particular engine is a lot of the components that we may need to put it all back together aren't available from KTM. So we're going to have to reuse a bunch of these parts, and that's the one thing that's really important for you guys out there to understand is with this product, we actually extend the life of these components. So even if KTM doesn't have them in stock, which is what we're running into now, like with the piston, the rings, the wrist pin, the cam chain, the camshaft, the rocker arms, and things like that, the high wear items, these are in such good shape that we can reuse those. Now, when we get over here to the camshaft, one thing that we wanted to see is we wanted to measure to see if there was wear in between the rockers, where the rocker arms actually run on these shafts, and we wanted to make sure that the contact patches of the rocker arms where they run on the cams and on the cam lobes here, okay? This is where they actually contact the valves on the shims. They were in great shape. There is no wear and there's no indicated scoring or anything on any of the top end components, including the camshaft and the rocker arms and the rocker shafts. So with that, we can reuse those components and not have to spend a bunch of money on those or wait for those to come in from being ordered. So moving right along, the valves, we had to take the valves out. We actually took the valves and we cleaned those, and then we went and we inspected them to make sure that there was no cracks or anything on the heads of the valves, made sure that the seats were in good shape, and most importantly, with this high heat of a test, that the valve stems themselves weren't in bad shape or showing any scoring from that high heat. So all of the valves checked out and are actually reusable. So we've got new valves here to gauge them against, which is very rare. We've got new springs that we actually gauge the old springs against to see if that they were fatigued or if they were low on pressure or cracked. So we can gauge those right against those to see directly what the differences are. With that, we're in good shape with that. The clutch. A lot of guys out there are going to ask, well, let's see here. You got yourself a 450 Rockstar Husky Edition from a pro rider. Well, what was that clutch like when it was new? We don't know. We got the bike from the guys from MXA just that morning, so we had no idea what the clutch looked like, whether it was just baked or whatnot. Now, with this, some of the fibers are a little dark, but the clutch actuation and the clutch feel and the clutch grab worked perfect, even at the end of the test. So what we're going to do with this, we're going to take all of these clutch components, we're going to put them right back in the bike and reuse them. So with that being said, these are the high wear components that we would see here. The only thing we didn't take out was the crankshaft, because the crankshaft, the connecting rod, showed such a small amount of clearance that it rolled and it worked perfect in there. So we're going to leave that and reuse that as well. We've got all the parts prices and everything like that for you guys. We're going to show you those. That's potentially $3,000 plus to replace damaged parts versus $20.95 using Max Power 4-stroke engine treatment, as it keeps your hard-earned money in your pocket, not the dealer's. For increased performance and protection is a no-brainer. We're talking reliability with Max Power 4-stroke engine treatment.